Hawaii and Oahu. I'll give you a further breakdown of this in my full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Let's take you live now to the Big Island, where Kilauea is once again putting on a show. This is truly spectacular. Episode 18 of the ongoing eruption started at around 3:20 this morning. USGS says lava fountains are more than 600 feet high from the south vent, and the north vent has a fountain that's about 200 feet high. As you can see, the plume is going straight up due to those calm winds. Definitely an exciting Earth Day development here. And the eruption is, of course, drawing lots of people to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Crowds are expected to be bigger this time around, with more visitors in town for Merry Monarch Week. Now, the public is reminded to be safe and smart while viewing the volcano. There are also other hazards in the area because of the eruption, such as Pele's hair and tephra, which are chunks of rock fragments that could be seen falling on nearby cars.
It was like raining from the sky. It's like a rock, but it's not a rock. I heard it, like it's come to my body, and then it's like raining.
We're trying to get Pele's hair off of our clothes and hair, and
been here, got a lot of it off now, but we've been here for like an hour, and it accumulated all over us. Yeah, our car has been here for about an hour.
Now, because of these hazards, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park has closed the Ui Kahuna and Crater Rim Trail, as well as the Kilauea Overlook. Hula halau that are considering dancing, doing protocol, or leaving ho'okupu near the eruption are being urged to wear clothing that protects your skin and, of course, footwear. Drew's going to have more on your VOG forecast coming up in a little bit. In other news, the search for an attempted murder suspect on Oahu continues today. 34-year-old Justin Ahukoi is accused of trying to run over his pregnant girlfriend in Waianae. Court documents say the woman is about 4 months pregnant with twins. The incident took place back on Wednesday, April 9th, just before noon. The victim said she was changing her vehicle's tire in a park when Ahukoi allegedly sped up to her and sideswiped her with his car. She was taken to the hospital for a fractured right toe. We've posted a link on our website where you can leave an anonymous tip on this case. Despite today's market gains, the Dow is still set for one of the worst Aprils since the Great Depression, as President Trump's tariffs and his conflict with the Federal Reserve Chair has investors nervous. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
The International Monetary Fund is warning President Trump's tariffs will slow down the global and U.S. economies.
U.S. dollar fell to its lowest level in 3 years. Usually when you have tariffs, the dollar rises. This tells us that the international community is selling America, and that is not good for any of us.
But stocks pushed higher on remarks Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made in a closed-door meeting. CBS News confirmed he told investors a trade war with China is unsustainable. Bessent says he expects the situation to de-escalate, even though those trade talks have yet to begin.
The president and the administration are setting the stage for a deal with China. So we feel everyone involved wants to see a trade deal happen, and the ball is moving in the right direction.
The White House also defended President Trump's attacks on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who Trump called a, quote, major loser for not lowering interest rates.
The president believes that they have been making moves and taking action in the name of politics rather in the name of what's right for the American economy.
President Trump continues to stand by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after reports the Pentagon chief shared details about military airstrikes in a private Signal group chat that included his wife, brother, and attorney.
Those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building, are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing.
The administration says the report is part of a smear campaign from disgruntled former Pentagon employees. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, the University of Hawaii says 5 of its international students have had their visas revoked by the Trump administration with no explanation. They are among the more than 1,000 international students nationwide who've lost their legal status in the U.S., and many are now suing the White House. The students are claiming they were targeted because they were involved in protests over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. UH President Wendy Hensel says none of the 5 UH students were engaged in the protests. The school is now offering them legal help.
We do not take folks who have lost their visa off our enrollment agendas or our rosters. That's not something that we've done. And we will work with each of these students to finish out or identify how we can support their academic studies.
Hensel also says because of the federal cuts, the school has lost 48 research programs, $36 million in awards, $250,000 a month in payroll, which has affected 82 employees. Well, Governor Green said he will not veto a bill to allow online sports betting in Hawaii if it comes out of the state legislature with proper safeguards. The State House also debated a proposal to study casino gaming. Daryl Huff has the details.
Opponents are rallying the troops, but it appears that both sports online gaming and casinos are getting more support in Hawaii than ever before, perhaps because uncertain times make any source of money look more attractive.
It's possible to increase our job count by 6,000 jobs and a benefit of $250 million plus to our economy.
I just hope that there will be some consideration given to mitigating instead of just looking to allow for profits to be generated for these gambling companies.
The controversial Senate resolution would bring industry, law enforcement, tourism, and government experts into a working group to study how to legalize casinos. But this year, gambling supporters are playing an extra card. A casino could ensure success for the new stadium and entertainment district.
We always do encourage the exploration of new revenue or alternative revenue streams that is meant to be reinvested into building a new stadium.
The stadium district redevelopment team, led by Stanford Carr, could have a seat on the casino working group.
Let's be honest. When you need a casino to make your stadium pencil out, that's not planning, that's panic. That's a bailout dressed up as a policy discussion.
This is not a bailout to Aloha Stadium, Madam Speaker. This is to study it.
You're not just studying the issue, you're scripting the outcome. This isn't research, it's a rehearsal.
The resolution passed the House today despite 14 no votes, so versions of the casino working group have passed both houses. On Sunrise this morning, the governor says a survey indicates public opposition to casinos may be softening.
But the world's changing quite a lot. And what people said in our survey was if you spend the revenues in a good place, like on Hawaiian Homeland's housing or housing for the workforce, a lot of people supported it.
The governor's office said the gambling survey was done by a private entity and they don't have a copy to share. He said the survey said 2/3 of the public supports online sports betting, and if it passes, he probably won't veto it.
Look, as long as there are some safeguards with gambling addiction services and so on, if the legislature goes the full way and passes it, I'll likely let it become law.
So if you're laying odds, it appears that online sports betting is heading down the home stretch towards approval this year. But casinos, if they are ever approved, won't come anytime soon. Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Daryl. We're learning new details about the funeral arrangements for Pope Francis. The Vatican announced today that the funeral mass for the 88-year-old pontiff will take place Saturday in St. Peter's Square. Tony Aiello has the latest from Rome.
Preparations are underway at St. Mary Major Basilica, 2 miles east of the Vatican, where Pope Francis will be laid to rest. He chose to be buried at the Basilica, a favorite of his, instead of at the Vatican like most popes.
It speaks about his humility. It speaks about his love of peace.
Tomorrow, Pope Francis's body will be moved in a procession from the private chapel of his Santa Marta residence to St. Peter's Basilica, where he will lie in state until Saturday's funeral and burial. Francis, who had been in poor health, died Monday, just the day after making a surprise appearance at Easter Sunday services. The next few days will be all about paying tribute to the man known as the People's Pope and all he accomplished during his 12-year papacy. Then the focus shifts to picking a new pope. Cardinals from around the world, many of whom will already be at the Vatican for Francis's funeral, will take part in the secretive election process known as the conclave. The voting is held in the Sistine Chapel. Only those cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to participate.
a majority of the cardinals who will be voting are actually Francis appointees. But this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to end up with someone just like Francis. There's a lot of politicking behind the scenes.
A two-thirds majority is needed to elect the next pope. Tony Aiello, CBS News, Rome.
Merry Monarch Week festivities are underway in Hilo, and the anticipation is growing as halal from all over prepare for competition. Dylan Ancheta just landed in Hilo and filed this report.
Aloha mai kako from Hilo. I just touched down here. It's a beautiful day. People are getting their bags off of my flight, and you can just feel the excitement in the air. The airport is, if you're heading out, it's calm, but if you're coming in, you can expect to see a lot of friends, family, and ohana. We are going to be hitting the ground running here in Hilo, bringing you all the fun that is Merry Monarch 2025. Of course, Ho'ike starts tomorrow, and then Miss Aloha Hula on Thursday, and then the Kahiko competition Friday night with the Awana and awards on Saturday. So stick with Hawaii News Now for all of the fun and the Merry Monarch happenings in and around Hilo Town. I'm Dylan Ancheta in Hilo, Hawaii for Merry Monarch 2025. Aloha.
Thank you, Dylan. And Hawaii News Now will be providing extended live coverage from Hilo for the Merry Monarch Festival. That starts tomorrow morning when sunrise will be on the road from Hilo's Grand Naniloa Hotel. And Wednesday night at 7 on K5, it's our live special backstage at the Merry Monarch Festival. You can also find complete coverage on our app and on hawaiinewsnow.com. Well, jury deliberations are underway in Lori Vallow Daybell's murder conspiracy trial in Arizona. What she told jurors in her closing arguments ahead on This Is Now. Plus this.
From new ways to restore coral reefs to environmental education, the tourism industry is working to improve sustainability. I'm Wendy Gillette in Grand Cayman with the efforts.
In Arizona, 12 jurors have begun deliberating in the murder conspiracy trial of Doomsday Mom Lori Vallow Daybell. She is accused of conspiracy to commit murder in the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. He was shot by Daybell's brother Alex Cox back in 2019, but prosecutors say Daybell also played a role in the murder and highlighted her texts and actions as evidence. Daybell represented herself in this trial and claimed self-defense.
We also know that Charles Vallow was not accidentally shot. She told the police she was there. She knows that her brother intentionally shot him. course, they want to claim it's self-defense. There's no accident about that when you shoot someone twice.
In Arizona, self-defense is defined as not being a crime.
Daybell has already been convicted in Idaho for murdering her 2 children, Tylee and JJ. She was also convicted for her role in the death of her current husband's first wife. Well, Earth Day is a time for everyone to pause and consider the health of our planet and how to best protect it. Wendy Gillette reports on a couple of initiatives aimed at improving the world around us.
Marine biologist and owner of Wavelength Reef Cruises, John Edmondson, has pioneered a new way to help regrow damaged coral on the Great Barrier Reef.
Coral bleaching has been caused by climate change, which is caused by human greenhouse gas emissions.
Scientists say those emissions are warming the world's oceans, causing some reefs to die.
The bottom bit's alive, but a lot of that fragment is dead.
Edmondson and his wife Jenny collect broken coral, grow the pieces in nurseries, refragment them, and then use a clip Edmondson designed to replant them off the northeastern coast of Australia. In one remote area of the reef, marine scientists found catastrophic coral bleaching after ocean temperatures hit record highs last summer, part of what NOAA calls the most widespread global bleaching event to date.
The world's reefs are under serious pressure from a changing climate.
Barrier Reef education is a part of Edmondson's reef snorkeling trips.
There's an important role in ecotourism in just making people connect with the reef.
Many resorts are also expanding their efforts to educate guests about the environment, including here at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, where the annual Cayman Cookout has added more activities to showcase the island.
The food festival held every January that brings famous chefs together to play and cook has introduced kayaking and cycling tours, partnering with the Ambassadors of the Environment program.
We certainly have a big footprint. We certainly want to share our best practice and share why it's so important to protect the environment.
How was it?
Great.
And every year at the cookout, Chef Jose Andres heads underwater to capture an invasive species in the Atlantic.
Very, very sharp.
Lionfish, identified by their venomous spines.
Once we remove all those spines, it's safe to handle.
It's sending a message and creating awareness about the problem of the lionfish.
Andres cooks a fisherman's stew with the lionfish as the star ingredient, one less threat to the ecosystem. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Grand Cayman.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we're tracking some rainfall over the Garden Island, VOG across the rest of the island chain. Your VOG forecast coming up.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is a First Alert Weather Day. We're tracking Kauai rainfall and some thunderstorms and, of course, fog across the rest of the island chain. I want to walk you through our fog forecast, especially with the eruption going on at Kilauea right now, the most recent episode. Just taking a quick look as we're going forward throughout the rest of today. High concentrations of sulfur dioxide and other volcanic fumes over near Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And because of the southerly and southeasterly winds that we have right now, it's pushing it up across the entirety of the island chain. Of course, the highest concentrations right now look to be around the Hilo area and just downwind of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, but you'll see it moves all the way towards Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai throughout Wednesday and Thursday. So air quality should take a little bit of a dip. Areas that do see some rainfall, like Kauai, will likely see a little bit of a break from the fog, but this is going to continue until at least this weekend. Just giving you a quick look at our first alert radar and satellite outside. Relatively dry right now. We have some moisture off to the southwest of Maui County, but just moving up towards our northwest, there's that low pressure system. There's that system that's moving in later tonight. It's going to get close enough to Kauai where we could see some rainfall. You can already even see in the clouds, it's pulling up that moisture and instability that's to the south of us. We're starting to see those southerly winds really start screaming out there, getting a little bit stronger. Over on Kauai, some cloud cover over the Mauka areas. Earlier over the last hour, we did have some downpours up near Kahuku and along the north shore and along the Ko'olau as well, but elsewhere it's been relatively quiet and sunny. A little bit of a shower over Lanai, and then over on Hawaii Island we're having one shower along the Hamakua coast. And breaking down the overall weather pattern as we're going into this evening, again, we have that flood watch up for Kauai right now through Wednesday evening. So it started at noon just a couple of minutes ago all the way tomorrow afternoon. Oahu and Maui County are not included. Again, heavy rainfall and some isolated thunderstorms over the western end of the state. Right now it looks to be just west of Kauai where the heaviest rainfall falls. And again, the best chance for rain is over the Garden Isle. Low pressure again that we were just taking a look at is dipping southward. Unsettled weather across the state today and tomorrow. We'll see an increase in afternoon showers out there. And then there's those Kona winds that we were just talking about. They're getting stronger out there and the humidity is increasing, also providing the instabilities for some pop-up afternoon showers like we were just taking a look on the radar. Going forward in our Pacific weather pattern, you can see this is when we start to see rainfall over Kauai. Throughout this afternoon, some pop-up showers across the entire state, but late tonight is when the best chance for rainfall and thunderstorms is over the western end of the state. So we're watching this very closely. A great tool to have is the Hawaii News Now First Alert Weather app and our surf and shoreline forecast. Northwest and south facing shores all on the rise. Some box jelly still out there in town, and east facing shores a little bit smaller out there, around 1 to 3 feet for this afternoon. Mahalo to Jock for sending in this photo of Hanalei. Just take a quick look at our First Alert 7-day forecast. Tuesday and Wednesday, again, First Alert weather days. A little bit warm this weekend. 86 for a high temperature on Friday and Saturday. And of course, with the moisture from the Kona winds, it'll feel a little bit warmer.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, the special edition Lilo and Stitch Spam cans have hit store shelves. A closer look in 2 minutes. Time for some good news now and some adorable pictures. Say aloha to Umi Umi, the second Hawaiian monk seal pup of the season. The little one was born on Oahu's east side to RK80, also known as Keola Kai. Now, the name Umi Umi means whiskers in Hawaiian, and it was given to the pup by the students of Waialua Elementary School.
Umi Umi looks absolutely adorable.
I know, very cute. Yeah. All right, well, Disney has started marketing for the new Lilo and Stitch live-action remake.
And its latest advertisements use a special kind of canvas, Hawaii's favorite canned meat. Spam is now selling a special edition Lilo and Stitch themed can. Check it out. There are 3 different designs depicting Stitch enjoying the islands. They're now available at Hawaii retailers and will cost you about $3.80 a piece, but you may have to look hard for them. H&N producer Bryce Hanamoto says he visited 3 separate long stores across Oahu before he found one that carried all 3 designs, and they look pretty cool. I can't believe the movie's coming out next month.
I know, I'm excited to see it, starring a local girl from here. And have you fully embraced Spam since moving here?
Yes, I have.
Right? It's good.
I didn't eat Spam back in Texas, but it has become a regular part of my diet.
All right. Thanks for watching. This is Now Everyone. More news first at 4.